Show. The Reflection Show. The Reflection Show.
Welcome to The Reflection Show. My name is Ramses. You never go to the mirror scripted, but you always go unscripted. And you know I like to bring to you unique individuals who carry a powerful story. But this guy right here, I met him at a wonderful event. I mean, it was on set ATL, and I saw some of the work that he was doing, and man, I was just blown away as a creative. It's one thing to know that you're a creative, but it's another when you are in the same room of other creators, other creatives who are, I would say, are a genius. And this guy right here, he's a celebrity, director, producer, script writer. I mean, in the film industry, he's a heavy hitter. The one and only Bobby Huntley! What's up, Bobby?
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Man, bro, it's been a blessing. I mean, you know, our relationship led us to this moment, man, and I'm just proud of you for the work that you've been doing and the work that you continue to do. Talk about your journey about getting into film from a child all the way to where you are now.
Got you. Okay, so I was one of those kids who was just bouncing all over the walls, getting into everything.
Yeah.
I sang, dance, draw, paint, pretty much anything that had anything to do with the arts. You know, I was all over the place doing it, writing, producing my own music, learning to play instruments and all these different things.
Bobby, you hold all those gifts.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot happening. You know, I didn't perfect anything per se, but it was just, I was always dabbling in a lot of different things and trying to showcase as best as I can.
So creativity has always been that center focus for you.
1,000%. You know, all of the rest of my cousins, you know, was majority, you know, male cousins. There was heavy into sports and winning trophies, and I was like, yeah, that's not in my deck of cards even a little bit. So I found my lane, and it's like, oh, that's Bobby. He can do this and do that. And you know, every time the family get together, I was always showing them something new that I just did, or you know, an award that I've won. You know, so that was more my lane.
And what are some things that you learned about yourself at a young age that other people did not know, but you knew it?
Even with that idea, because I remember being keenly aware of myself outside of myself.
Wait, explain that. That was good.
It was like almost like a third eye situation. I don't know, but it just felt like I was aware of everything that was like going on, to the point where I knew I had to dumb myself down because I knew my place as a child. But to this point now, like, don't ever guess that kids aren't paying attention, aren't watching, aren't soaking everything up. Because I was soaking everything up. And I remember having conversations with like even my teachers in elementary school. You know, everybody, the kids are all outside. I'd hang out with the teachers. Yeah. And they'd be talking about things, and I was, oh yeah, I'm talking to them about things that happened in the 70s and the 80s and the 50s, and they're like, no, what are you doing? So I was those, and I, you know, learn to read, you know, these old big thick books about Motown and movies and all these things. Like I learned to read, and Michael Jackson biographies. I learned to read by reading all of those things.
And what time travel you were in?
I was just, you know, always obsessed with the past, what happened before, and then feeling a sense that I was around. And when I was around adults, I would ask myself, so what was it like back then? How, you know, what was going on in the news or in the music and all those things? And you know, even in the beautiful place we are now, there's records around and LPs. Like I was the kid who would be digging through the records, going through people's houses, going through the records and looking in the back, studying who played on what year. So even now I can hear a song and I know exactly what year it was recorded.
Interesting.
So I was just one of those weird kids.
So that weirdness was you becoming a genius or embracing your genius?
I believe so. Yeah, because I always do.
Because I mean that's true. I mean, to think about it, you were reading books. Yeah. You were reading the story of the past, so that today you could relate of creating films for the future.
For sure.
Bobby, that's incredible.
Yeah, I never thought about it until you made me answer that question. I was like, yeah, all those ingredients I was slowly putting into this big bowl, and that's pretty much what got me where I am today.
So now that you are where you are in this time frame, in this season of your life, what have you learned along the way about your gift?
Oh, what I've learned about my gift is twofold. One is that the gift means nothing without hard work and being consistent.
Say it again. The gift means?
The gift means nothing without hard work and being consistent. And also on the other side of that is you have to work on the people skills that come with the work, where it's like communication and being effective in communication. Because
Right.
you know, as a creative, you're in your head, you're thinking about this, you're building that. But you know, when you're in your zone, sometimes it can come across a certain way to certain people.
Right.
So I had to hit my head up against the wall to kind of see that, you know, sometimes you do have to battle people's perception and try to
Yeah.
be outside of that. But now, fortunately, I'm strong enough I have people strategically around me that helps with that.
I like what you said, that you've placed a strategic wall around you.
Yes, for sure.
That helps build the empire.
Right.
Why do you do that? Like there has to be a deeper meaning to that, because it sounds like as a child you've always been outside of the box.
Yeah.
And outside of the box is what led you to think the way you think now
Yeah.
as a film producer. So what about that wall is so important to you?
Well, I think that wall was pretty much always there, even as a kid, you know, just being, I guess what you would call different from other kids. And that kind of forced me to be on the outside looking in a lot.
Okay.
And of course, as you're growing up, you feel left out, ostracized and stuff like that. And like, why am I not a part of certain things? But I grew into it, I'm able to look at life and really delve into moments and things because I've always been the observer.
Wow.
And that's how I'm able to make my films resonate with people, by tapping into different emotions and things and stuff like that. So that's helped me in that front.
Yeah, Bobby, because you can produce and you can direct.
Thank you.
And you're very talented, you're very skillful, you're very gifted. I mean, you're all of the above, and it's amazing that, you know, to hear that your childhood, you know, for a season of your life, you felt like, man, you know, do I even belong
That's
here,
real.
right?
Yeah.
And then now everybody's saying, man, this film belongs here. Man, this content belongs here. All because you didn't truly understand that it was a sacrifice, but it was that sacrifice that kept you authentic to your true self with the gift that you were born with.
Right, and that's what I say to, you know, different artists and creatives. You know, we all have to go through certain things in life, sometimes more than other people.
Yeah.
And that's what we used to put into our work that makes people feel it more. So if you're going through a lot and dealing with things, and you may be, you know, sleeping in your car, going through this and going through that, it's okay. Use it. You're gonna need every fiber of that.
So what are some of the adversities that you went through as far as like to get into the film industry? Because I know, you know, a lot of people say, of course, relationship, we know that's key, but you had to lose something in order to gain something. What was that?
Oh yeah, I sacrificed a lot. I did sacrifice relationships. I did sacrifice just having things that, you know, young adults are expected to have. You know, had to go without a lot, you know.
Tell me.
Homelessness
I want to know.
sometimes, you
Being homeless.
Being homeless.
How many times did you cry? How many times were you frustrated with yourself because you felt like you needed to be at a certain place at a certain time in a season of your life? How many times?
Got you. So that was something I don't want to say battled with myself, because, you know, and I'm also a PK too, so there's that other level.
You're a preacher kid.
Yes, sir.
Well, Lord.
So I
knew I saw the bishop in you.
I talked to my dad, you know, Reverend Bobby Ray Huntley the first.
Yeah.
I talked to him a lot, and he kind of sows into me a lot. But I'm also able to see, you know, with my gifts outside of the moment.
Yeah.
Like, these are just building blocks for the next things. These are the things I got to go to. Because, you know, sometimes you feel like, oh, okay, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why isn't this happening or that happening? But as you go forward and you continue to build more experience in your skill, you realize, oh, I was not even ready for what I'm dealing with.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's almost like being in a season of being mature. I mean, you realize like, oh, okay, I need to slow down to really gain clarity with what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I would not have been ready for all the things I have going on had I gotten it then. You know,
So losing some helped you gain a lot more today.
a lot more. I'm in a place where I never could have even envisioned for myself back then, and I'm extremely thankful for that.
And let's talk about the content that you're creating, because you have a unique perspective as a film producer, as a writer, and also working with your team to execute such a profound content, such as like we were talking about the Martin.
Pam and Tommy.
Pam and Tommy.
Yeah.
You know, where, you know, me and my creative director, Will, when we were at Onset ATL, we was like, man, we sat on the edge of our chair like, what is this? This is not even, like, this is some Back to the Future type of stuff.
Yeah,
Like what allow you to create the way you create?
I always try to keep, a pulse on the culture, what people are talking about now, and also have the foresight to see what people will be talking about 2, 3, 6 months from now, and try to position myself to be ready to be the center or at least part of that conversation.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what Pam and Tommy was going about. But it's kind of like I even tripped myself up because I don't even realize it. Like literally the day we wrapped filming, they announced the Martin 30-year reunion show or something on BET, and I'm like, God is always,
Yeah,
so,
but think about that.
Yeah.
For God to give you a gift,
yeah,
to marry the past with the present,
right.
in order to show the intimacy of the future.
Okay, can I trademark that? That's mine right there. Thank you.
I'm just saying,
No, that's legit. That's my thing.
It's a unique thing that you're able to do, and for me, I call that a leader that has provision.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? And I know that you had to go through a lot of pruning in order to enjoy what you're enjoying now.
Yes, I did. Indeed. That's real.
What is it like for you to see your team win?
Oh, so first of all, I'm just so extremely humbled and blessed by the people in my team. Like, they trust me. And it's to the point where now, and even before, I don't even have to explain.
Wow.
Like, okay, about to do this, is this meets this, and this is that, I want to shoot this in 2 months or 6 weeks or whatever. Okay, bet, let's go. What do you need? Like, I don't have to pitch. I don't have to. And almost kind of makes me, I'm a little like, what do you call it?
You feel useless?
I mean, no. It's like, no, I feel like, what's the word when it's like you feel, you eat too much candy?
I
Spoiled. So, okay, I got you.
Okay.
So it's to the point that I feel a little bit spoiled because, like, when people are like, oh, you got to pitch, you got to do this. I was like, I never, but I understand that's what you got to do for some people. But like, I'm just surrounded by people. Or I could just make some calls like I want to do this and that, and even, but that just comes from like years of just doing the work and organically building that. It didn't start that way.
You talk about years. How many years if you were to give a number right now, how many years have you been in the works doing what you're doing?
Well, I graduated film school 11 years ago, and then pretty much went into like professionally trying to build my name in 2014, 2015. That's when I did the New Edition viral trailer. That's what inspired BET to go forward with the movie. So that's kind of, pretty much since then. That's what, like 6, 7 years now.
And how much money did you spend in 2015 for that trailer, that BET?
I don't really think anything. So fortunately, how that worked out, I was working at my industry father studio, Chet Brewster. Shout out to Chet, Davin Star One Entertainment. And I was his editor, so I was editing. He did like concerts and different things like that, and plays and all of that. He actually directed a lot of Tyler Perry's plays in terms of the filming of it for the DVD. So I was watching his work growing up, and I didn't know it.
Wow.
Anyway, so I'd be editing things, and I was like, "Hey, I think I want to do this little thing. Can I use your cameras?" Because he had a whole warehouse filled with cameras and gear and equipment. Like, I'm just gonna shoot on the weekends. He's like, "Sure." Next thing you know, he had these 5, 6 boys running around. I'm doing their hair and gluing. Turning them to the shag and Jerry curl and all this stuff. He's like, what is going on? He's like, you'll see. And like 3, 4 months later, I was like, I brought it to him like, this is what I've been working on all this time. And so, I mean, of course you got to buy the clothes and stuff. So I learned how to go to thrift shops and try to find the cardigans and the whole throwback and 80s vibes and all that stuff. But it was just, I was fortunate enough to be in a space where everything was pretty much at my disposal.
How much did it take for you to believe in yourself?
Oh, I had to. I didn't have a choice. I was the first one in my family to graduate from college, and there was a tremendous pressure, and still now, to succeed and make my family proud because my mom sacrificed a lot.
Tell me more.
We just had to give up a lot from as far as like financial security. We lost our house a few years back, right before the pandemic. And, that was in the midst of me going viral and doing all these things, but like the industry wasn't really calling at that time. And I was just in a place and space where like, I mean, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, God, because I feel called and compelled to do it, but am I doing it the right way? Why isn't things happening? So I just really feel guilty about not being able to provide, because you want to provide for your mom. She just retired.
You're right. I mean, that's one of the things, when you have a strong woman that has been carrying it for a long time.
Yeah.
And now you've grown up to become this man, and your first thing in your mind is like, how can I, retire my mother, or how can I,
1000%.
allow her to live the dream she wants to live?
Yeah.
Because obviously she sacrificed her own dream for your dream.
Yeah, she's a woman of leisure. She loves to do nothing. I'm like, Mom, what do you want to do now? Nothing. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do what I can to make sure you don't have to do nothing else ever again. Yeah. But just all of that and going through that, she never complained.
Yeah.
She always been my biggest, cheerleader, and on my sets cooking. The people love your mama cooking.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, she's cooking. So they love the food and all that. She's just, always been there for me in that capacity.
And obviously you admire your mother a lot. What have you picked up from your mother that has made you the man that you are today?
Ooh. Well, Miss Angela Braxton got a mouth on her, so I gotta try to watch mine. She's very just strong. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely learned that, but I definitely, in terms of my personality, a lot more came from my dad.
Yeah.
My dad he's a little pompous. I can be pompous sometimes. I can't hide that, but it's just he just keeping the spirituality and just checking in with yourself and just having and knowing that there's eyes on you and carrying yourself a certain way, even if you don't feel like it, but somebody's always watching and just representing your work and yourself to the best of your abilities at all times.
So your parents pretty much cultivated you as a leader, and now you're able to lead hundreds of people on film projects, and you're able to serve them to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
How do you handle mistakes within your gift? Let's say if you're creating something and it still hasn't hit, how do you handle that moment?
Well, there's a few things with that. Well, the first thing is just understanding that mistakes are going to happen. Film is Murphy's Law all the time. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong.
Wait, say that again.
Filmmaking, especially, filmmaking, independent filmmaking, all filmmaking is Murphy's Law, which is whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So it's your job as a director, producer, any of those, above the line, places and spaces and roles, you have to prepare for that as best as you can. So that's where your experience and getting your scars and all of that over the years, that's where that comes from. So once you get to the place where you're ready, to attack the bigger projects and stuff, you've had the experience and you know what pitfalls to avoid and how to pick the right people and to put them in place to handle those things. And don't take it too hard on yourself. And the number one thing, of course, is communication. Communicate with your team. Okay, we fell short in this capacity. How can we make sure tomorrow that we don't make the same mistakes?
Right.
All of those things. So communication is definitely key.
A lot of people say it takes over 10,000 hours to define your success within the industry you're in.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
I guess so. It's been almost 10 years for me, so the math is kind of math. And,
it's balancing out.
So I was trying to avoid it, but you can't avoid those 10,000 hours if you want to make something that actually lasts and stick, and that you show that you're worth your weight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes, I actually
Why?
am.
What makes you so proud of Bobby Huntley?
I'm proud of Bobby Huntley. Hey, because for whatever reason that's beyond my control and understanding, I refuse to stop.
So when you deal with, because we all go through it. I mean, as creatives, we get so lost in the vision, and sometimes we get so lost on how big the dream is. Sometimes depression tries to find its way to sneak in.
Oh yeah.
How do you manage your mental state?
Well, I manage my mental state by understanding that it comes with the territory. You are going to have depressive moments and days, I know it's different for everybody, and everybody have their own relationships with it and levels and things like that. But for me, I take it as God wants me to sit down for a minute. So, I spend my days curled up in bed, all the lights off and stuff. I do that, and I just learn to breathe and recalibrate, because you have all these thoughts in your head. This isn't happening. Why am I that? Why aren't the views coming? Why? And you just gotta take that time and tone it all down. Like, God wants your attention in that moment, and give it to Him. Rebuild yourself back up, and you're ready to get back at it.
Yeah, but even with your name that carries weight, even with the access you have to people in your phone, you still manage to. It's just interesting to me that you still manage to think in that fashion that God wants you to sit down for a second.
Oh yeah.
And slow it down, and even also that. The fact that you have all this access, you still think like, how come this ain't happening? How come that ain't happening? What causes that feeling to come?
It's through the dangers of social media. You comparing yourself, you doom scrolling, like, he's doing this, he's doing that. Oh, because I had a bad moment last year. It was really dark. It was really dark. I was comparing myself to another filmmaker that had some amazing opportunities come their way, and my mind sent me to a spiraling place.
Wow.
And it was really dark, and it was like right before my birthday, and it got to the point where, you know, I was battling a bout of homelessness last year too.
Yeah.
And
Wait, hold on. You were homeless last year?
Yeah, I had some bouts with it. Yes. There was some, but it's crazy. It's like this dichotomy of this like world where I'm like all over the world. I was touring my film in France and doing all these amazing things, and coming back to I don't have nowhere to stay. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But you know, fortunately, I had friends who let me use their hotel points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
But think about this, Bobby. You are producing content like Pam and Tommy.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you BET going viral, and you're traveling the world to come back to America.
Yes.
To come back to your city, to come back to your town, and you have nowhere to stay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, sometimes life be life. You know? But even more to that point.
Right.
At Onset ATL, shout out to them. I premiered my latest short film, Taste, there. And, you know, I got the usual, oh, Bobby, it's amazing, da, 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 da. And I felt nothing. And that was my first time, because usually that helps pep me back up and give me a little bit of juice.
Yeah.
But I was the most dead inside that I've ever felt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. And I remember that because that was the night before my birthday, my Jesus year. And I just had to go back to my hotel room I was staying at and just kind of recalibrate everything and pray the hardest I ever prayed, because if I don't feel fullness from praise or whatever I get, you know, it's something is off. You know, it's not refilling my cup as it typically does, and I had to recenter myself and stop working from a place of comparing and try to one up people and all these things. So it just sent you down this bad road. And once I got that straightened up and cleared out, my life exponentially changed, like for the better. It's a complete 180 from where I was last year.
And now that you got peace, what words of affirmations?
Yeah, I felt that. Yes.
Now that you got peace, because I feel like, you know, sometimes we don't really sit down and reflect and talk about what we've been through or what we are going through, because sometimes your freedom is just not by a thought. It's about what the things that you're releasing, the things that you're saying, right? That's the power of prayer as well, right? Sometimes we're not praying to ask God for something. We're just letting God know, like, yo, this is what I'm dealing with, and I just need to get off my chest, right? So what words of affirmation do you use for yourself to now empower yourself as you continue to create great content like you're creating now?
Operate from a space of gratitude at all times. You know, that's something I'm very happy that my dad taught me, is just always say thank you, no matter what. If something's going great, say thank you. Something's going wrong, say thank you. Even in my toughest moments I've had this year, you know, I've been fortunate enough to direct, you know, my first actual feature films that I was hired to direct. You know,
say it again. You was what?
I was blessed to.
Wait, hold on. I heard a check coming, huh? You said hired.
Yeah, I was actually hired for the first time to direct 2 feature films. You know, one with the Real Housewives of Atlanta, so it'll be on Bravo.
Come on.
Right, yes.
Bobby, come on. Come on, Bobby.
Thank you. And, you know, another SAG project starring Jasmine Guy, who I grew up watching, love her.
Come on. Bobby, clap with me, Bobby, clap with me. Come on, Bobby, clap with me, baby. That's it.
That's right.
Yes.
But, and even those, you know, tough days on set where, you know, things aren't moving and I was just like, Lord, I'm exactly where I prayed to be right now.
Wow.
You know?
And that's when you got social media out the way.
Yes.
You got your thoughts out of the way.
Right.
You got your past out of the way.
Right.
And you embraced the moment.
Everything, embrace it and give it the grace and space of gratitude. It makes it feel a lot easier.
I like that. Everything, give it the space and grace for gratitude.
Yes.
That's almost like don't rent your space to fear. Right? Own your space by owning what God gives you, right?
That's right. That's right. So whatever you believe in and all of that, but just be thankful for whatever experience that you're in, because you can definitely use it.
I know you got the what you were just talking about, the 2 features and the Real Housewives. Tell me what's coming in the future for Bobby Huntley.
Got you.
BHF Productions.
Oh yeah, there's so many things, but I'm definitely expanding my team and my territory, if you will.
What do you mean territory? Talk to me.
I mean,
you coming to Florida? Let me find out you done told Mike you coming to Florida. Put it in the chat if you want Bobby to come to Florida.
Hey.
I can see him put it in the chat right now, Bobby.
That's real. Like, I love Florida. Miami's one of my favorite cities. I'm there all the time. So, and I love the film community down there too. There's a lot of great people. But yeah, just working on more bigger projects, and just bringing my name out there more. I was just been fortunate this year to be signed with 3 Arts Management. So I share the same management as Issa Rae, Kevin Hart, and all of those people. So
come on, congrats!
Expanding the
Congrats!
territory.
You're expanding.
And that's an exclusive. I've never said it publicly.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome.
You just made me famous.
So I'm excited to see where that relationship can go. What can go from that? Yeah.
And I want you to say this word. Say slingshot.
Slingshot.
You know why I told you to say that?
No.
Because that's what happened. God had to take you deep into darkness to propel you back into the light.
That's what it is.
Heavier and ready. So now you can actually produce an authentic harvest that's going to make you greater because your name carry weight.
Right.
I like I said, when I sat there on set ATL, I said, man, I got to interview this guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know who he is. I went up to you and got your number, and then we built a relationship.
Yes, sir.
And a year and a half later, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was a while.
The math,
yeah. And you're sitting here today, and just to capture the story is just, it's amazing because people see you, they see your work, but they don't know what's working inside of you. The wars that you go through, the nightmares you have to fight,
Oh, yeah.
The days where you feel like you don't even want to create.
Right, and a lot of it is internal. A lot of it is the calls coming from inside of the house. So you got to check that.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, before we end the show, I always say, man, there's a younger Bobby that's sitting right there on the living room just watching this. Or they're even on their cell phone at work. Or maybe they're sitting at a park just trying to figure out life, and this just popped up as an ad, or this just popped up on the channel, and they need a word of advice. What word could you share with that young Bobby watching right now?
Trust the process and the amount of time that you build with working on yourself, your craft, and what you feel that you were put on this earth to do. As much time as you put into that, that's going to be the awards that you get out of that. So study.
Study. Trust the process. The work that you're putting in, it's going to come forward for you. You don't have to force anything to happen. Remember what Bobby said, right? The space, right? Creating a space where gratitude can live. You want that. You want to live in that space. You want to dance with it. You want to sing with it. You want to be a part of it because that is going to get you to a place of peace. And because that's what it's all about. And we heard it right here on The Reflection Show with Bobby Huntley, the celebrity film producer, director, scriptwriter, all of the above, the business mogul in the film industry. This is Ramses Rizard on The Reflection Show. And remember, your experience matters. Thank you so much for watching.